Hey guys, I am here today to talk to you about burning our homestead. We're not crazy, I promise. Burning is actually really healthy for your land. The reason we're burning this year is because last year during hay season, all these mountains behind me were on fire. And my husband and all of our neighbors were actually, hey Duke, my husband and all of our neighbors who are firefighters were actually over there fighting that fire to protect the valley, and of course us over here on the other side. And so we weren't able to hay our property like we do every fall, which is where we cut all of our grass hay. We don't have any alfalfa or anything here. It's just kind of an orchard grass. And we bale it, and it's just a little extra roughage for our cows in the wintertime, or sometimes we throw it in with our pigs. But we weren't able to do that this year. So we end this last year because after the fire was over, all the guys really focused on cutting the hayfield, helping each other out, cutting the hayfields that had alfalfa, because those are the high dollar ones. So we were left with just this tons of just dry grass. You can see it all behind me, and you can see the green trying to grow up behind it because it's, it's actually Easter Sunday, and we decided there's no wind today, so we might as well work. You don't want to burn when there's a lot of wind, but we put our cows out here. You can see there's a white post right there. We actually ran temporary hot wire last fall to try to get the cows in here to eat some of this down so that we could have a nice fresh growth for spring this year. And it just didn't happen. The cows were totally uninterested in eating this brown grass, which, I don't blame them, but it was always worth a try. And so they actually ended up getting out and eating my garden. So we won't make that mistake again this year. But so we're left with all this dead grass that is inhibiting the nice fresh green grass from growing that we can either graze our cows on or again cut and bale again this year. So today we're going to burn several pastures on our property. And I say pastures, we only have three official pastures that are about, just a couple acres a piece. But then we have several spots on our land that, like I said, we hay or we put up temporary fencing to graze the cows a little bit further when we need it. But you can hear the kids up there holler, and they're all having a good time because they're excited to be outside and working and playing and just getting to be kids. But so my husband's here today he has a fire truck from our local fire department. I did snap a video of that earlier, so I will, splice it in. But with him being on the fire department, like I mentioned before, he's able to bring an engine here to the house that has all the equipment we need on it for wildland firefighting. Hopefully we don't have a need for any of it, but in the case that the fire did kind of get away from us or started going towards the house, we'd have all the equipment we need. And it's got a water tank on it. It's got hoses. There's Scout. That's our little Aussie border mix. It's got, all the axes, like pickaxes and shovels. And then he can also, if things were to get too crazy, he's got the radio where he can, holler for the other guys on the department, and they'll get here pretty quick. But we've already given a couple of them a heads up that we might be reaching out to them today. So, that's super helpful. I know that's not an option for everybody, but luckily it's an option for us. If you are going to be burning on your property, you want to make sure that it's a legal burn time. A lot of counties, especially out west where we are really prone to wildfires, there is a lot of areas that you can only burn during certain times of the year. So for us, of course, it's during the winter time, and actually being Easter, it's the middle of April. We're getting close to no burn time here, but everything just thawed maybe 2 weeks ago. So we have like this really short window of having no snow on the ground and having the grass dry enough that we can burn it, but not being outside of our burn season. So if you do want to burn, whether it's pasture burning, ditch burning, or burning a burn pile, like of all your, you know, trimmings and prunings and stuff like that, or barrel burns, you need to check with your local fire department to see if you're in burn season or if you need a burn permit. If you don't have one of those, you can actually get faced with a lot of fines. So, and if you don't have one and your fire kind of gets out of control and there's any property damage to a property other than yours, you could actually really be looking at a lot of fines and possibly even jail time. So you want to make sure that you're doing that legally. For us here, we don't have to have a burn permit, but we do have to burn during our burn season, and we have to inform our local fire department, which in our case is my husband. So he, you know, if somebody calls it in, he can clear it through our local sheriff's department. So burning all this grass, not only, like I mentioned before, will allow for the new green grass to grow, it's also going to put a lot of nutrients back into our ground. Like, I mean, just put it right back in. It doesn't have to decay or break down in any way. It's just going to immediately be bioavailable to the green grass that's growing. And therefore, when our animals come and graze it, they're going to get more of those nutrients as well. So this is actually super healthy for our land and for our animals. And I mean, it's something that's been done for thousands of years. I mean, this was indigenous practices in California long before, you know, long before any Europeans showed up. They were burning grasslands, they were burning woodlands for fire control and for putting nutrients back in. So this is just a really, really good practice. You know, what my husband will do is he'll come out here and just pick a spot, and he'll have a propane torch, which is where he has his small 5-gallon propane tank, and then he picks up a torch at the hardware store. I think they're 20-40 bucks, I can't remember. And you just hook it to the propane tank, which I'll try to catch a video with that a little later. And it's got a torch at the end, and you just light the fire and you start burning. Like, I do this because this is what you do. A lot of people call them weed burners. We will be using them actually on weeds in our flower beds too, and in our gardens. But he'll come out here, he'll just pick a spot, start burning it, and as it moves, you know, we'll stay on the edges of it and make sure that doesn't spread. But luckily we have some natural fire blocks with our dirt roads and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little tour of the areas we're going to burn. When I have a chance, I'll get some videos of the equipment, and then the boys are going to get some aerial videos of the fire. So if you ever have any questions about making these types of choices, you can always reach out to me. And I can help you find who you need to speak to, but usually your local fire department is going to be the best. Think county, volunteer, even your city fire departments. So let's get burning. All right, dead, dry grass. You get down here, you start digging, and look at all that green trying to come up. So we get this burned off, we're gonna have fresh, healthy dirt and green grass. One of the joys of my husband being on the fire department is when we have a burn day, we can have all the equipment that we need here to help keep our property safe. He's got a water tank on there and all the tools for wildland firefighting. So this really helps us out, and we don't have to worry as much, and the boys always get a kick out of it. What do you think, Branch? This is the side hill below our house. As you can see, we got some grapevines here. I don't know if you can see that or not, because just this time of year it looks like more dead stuff. There's our small apple orchard that we have growing here, but we luckily have a really nice fire break kind of going along that, so I'm not super worried. So, hi sis! We're gonna go ahead and burn all the way down, following the dirt road there, and come back up. There's my husband with the propane tank and the torch I was telling you about. Can you go ahead and hold that torch up? See, there it is.
Hey guys, sis, will you call the dogs away so I can set this up?
Here's Wyatt here. He's setting up his drone to get our aerial videos. We got Duke, Cash, and Scout, the three musketeers.
Here's the guards for the blade, for the pillar.
Cool.
Here.
This is his new drone he got for Christmas. He lost his last one in that stand of trees last year. Maybe we'll find it this year. Maybe we won't. So come over this way. And this is actually our backyard. You can see the house there. And we can only mow to that edge. We can't really bring the mower too much further over. So being able to burn this is going to be nice because we tend to get really tall grass along this line right here. And then we're going to burn this hill as well. And possibly a bit of this lower shelf here. As you can see here. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. No digging.
We have him.
Wait, Dad needs the shovel. He's coming.
Ooh, little fire-nado.
And if I feel right, it'd be a good idea to drop that pig so close to the house. It really concerns me on how many brain cells he has.
I'm videoing right now.
Hey.
There's a little fire tornado down there.
Brent?
Made it up to the grapes and the apple trees because the guys were down, weren't at the fire break, but it's okay because we needed to burn off all this grass anyways, and we don't think it's gonna penetrate the bark of the grapes. I'm gonna watch it over here by the apple trees because I don't want it getting over to my garden, but see, we're close to the house. Hi, Duke. As you can see, you wouldn't even know that we had burned this just a couple of weeks ago. That is absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to get the cows on it later this spring.